Welcome back to the Intersint podcast. My name is Mike,
I'm Kaneez.
and this is episode 10. We're actually now saying episode numbers in the beginning.
Yeah, to celebrate, I have COVID. So yay.
This will probably be a very low energy podcast from your end today.
Maybe. We'll see. I mean, I am getting better, so that's a positive.
The amount of sniffles we're going to have to cut out of this one.
Or don't. Just leave them all in.
There's so many sniffles on just a normal episode when you're not sick. So now that you are, it's just going to be insane.
There's so many sniffles to the point where you actually contemplated starting a sniffle count.
Yeah, but it's way past that point now that we can't go back. It'd take way too much time, but it'd be so nice to it'd be hilarious just to have a sniffle count for, on this episode, we increased 50 more sniffles. To start off, though, I think we tend to make light and make fun of a lot of subjects and a lot of news.
Yeah.
But I think it's responsible of us that if a news story isn't 100% accurate and we find that out, that we should at least come back and revisit it and clear up the things that we might have been wrong on in the beginning.
Yes.
So with that, I think it was like 3 weeks ago now, we talked about the Marubo tribe and how they got internet.
Oh yeah, we did. Started making fun of them.
Yeah, and a big point of the thing that we were joking about a lot is them getting addicted to porn and all those jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out that was not the case, and it wasn't true.
Really?
Yeah, so it later came out that now that they have internet, I think it was the tribe's leader or whatnot. Now that they have the internet, they saw all these articles, and he came out and said, no, that none of that's, well, it is true to an extent, but it's not a big problem like the news articles are saying it is.
Gotcha.
So it's weird to have like how these like supposedly like professional journalists are like blatantly lying about this stuff.
I mean, that's pretty much kind of expected at this point.
Yeah, I guess. It's the big problem though is that the kids are like doom scrolling and getting addicted to their phones or like their devices now. That's like the top problem. Yeah, obviously they're like sexting each other now and like they are watching porn and discovering porn, but the bigger problem is the fact that now the attention isn't going towards the tribe, it's now going towards the devices.
Ah, okay.
So just something to clear up from that episode. Which I think a big fear of it too was that I guess they're a very vocal based tribe, like communication and whatnot, and they're afraid that these devices are going to start taking away from that culture and it's going to destroy all that. So
yeah,
they're so hopeful that it's going to be a good thing, but they need to find that balance now and help it.
That makes sense.
So yeah, aside from that, like you said, you are not feeling well.
I'm not, no.
Though this is the best you felt, I think, so far.
Yeah, I mean, I know, like, towards earlier in the week, I wasn't feeling anything at all. Like, I just wanted to sleep all day, which I did.
You did.
Probably the most I've ever slept in my life.
Yeah, it's, you're like, oh, I'm awake now, and then you're out again. But at least you're, almost there.
I hope so.
It's been, what, a week now?
5 days.
So, I mean, yeah, right around the corner.
Thank you.
So something else, on top of the tribe stuff, we also talked about the Boeing Starliner. And as you would have it, Boeing is still not having a good reputation right now.
Yeah, really.
Their PR team has to be working like triple overtime right now. So for those who don't know, 2 astronauts went up in the Starliner.
Yes.
And they got there, I think, and then it broke.
Sure. I mean, even going up there were a lot of issues. So it's pretty much expected at this point that the return would also have issues.
Yep. And they were supposed to be there for 8 days, and they're now going on like a month, I think.
Right.
How mad would you be just, you're now stuck in space? Like, this is just classic, like, horror, like, thriller movie.
This is like Gravity to like the next level.
Pretty much.
Because they don't have a return date planned now, so they're just there.
Yeah.
For the unforeseeable future.
Like every day checking in, like, hey guys,
can we come home now?
we're still up there. And it's not even, this is the worst part about all this. NASA has now, was it NASA or Boeing? I think it was NASA, has now hired SpaceX to be the one to go up and rescue the people up on the space station.
That's absolutely hilarious.
Oh, yeah, sorry, this one shitty company fucked up. Now here's a second shitty company to come help.
I have no words anymore. It's just, you think with something like this, you'd at least have some sort of backup planned.
I guess, but what would a backup plan be if you're stuck in space?
Well, like, you should have anticipated something like this, especially if you know your reputation
Yeah, I guess.
at this point.
But if they're trying to like brush their reputation underneath the bed and trying not to like let people know about it.
I mean, at that point, it's too late. Everyone knows about it.
This is true. The funniest thing, I kind of like skimmed through the article, and this one line made me laugh so hard. But NASA and Boeing, they insist that the astronauts aren't stranded.
I feel like those two have to say otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what do you call that? Oh, they're not stranded. Are they able to get home? No, but they're not stranded up there.
No, they're just there. They're there for research, you guys. They have a job to do.
I'm waiting for the thing to be like, have you tried jumping out of this ship and swimming back to Earth? If we shoot up a giant hook, can you catch it and we'll pull you down? It's insane. Like, what would your thoughts be being trapped in space?
I honestly have no clue. I'd probably just have a quick realization of, yeah, I'm not coming home anytime soon. Better get comfortable right here. Especially if I knew that Boeing was the one taking me up there. I'd be like holding on for dear life, going up there and coming back down.
Quite literally. I think their reputation is screwed now. Like, no one's gonna want to fly on their planes. No one wants to be on their rockets anymore.
Not even now. This happened like first with like those Max 9s or whatever that they grounded for like all of what, 2020?
Yeah.
2021. Finally got the clearance to sell them again. And then now with all these incidents happening mid-flight, it's like, you guys do realize what you're doing here.
The big thing too is I drive past the Boeing plant.
You live close to the one where the whistleblower was apparently killed.
Oh, really? Which apparently there's a third whistleblower now.
There's like 3 people who've like died now.
Oh, jeez.
Good luck.
At what point is it like, all right, maybe we should start investigating this because the coincidence can't happen 3 times.
Yeah, really.
But I was driving by the other day and they had 2 military planes out, like the big gray military planes that they were working on.
That's not good.
They have a contract with the military.
Oh.
So like they had the 2 big gray Boeing planes out. I guess they just finished building them and whatnot. And my first thought was like, is this one going to go down just because something fell off of the plane while I'm trying to fly
it? I mean, you do know that military grade doesn't mean shit, right?
That's the funniest thing in the world. Every time I see an infomercial, especially on YouTube, like these like belts with like these belt buckles, and they're like, we made it with military grade steel. I'm like, that is the shittiest grade you can make it out of.
Well, I know the quality of this one now.
How many people still fall for that?
I don't know.
Oh, military grade. That means it's the best. No, this means they'd use the least amount of money possible to make this for you.
It's the worst.
I hate those buzzwords. Like, what's the worst buzzword you can think of? Because I think military grade is up there.
It's up there. I don't know.
Honestly, AI for me is becoming that buzzword.
Yeah.
Anytime I hear that word, it hurts me inside. I'm just like, oh, I don't want to use this product anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Even at work, we use a specific software. And I was complaining about this one thing. I'm like, well, can't the people who helped set it up like fix this so that it's now usable for us? And the guy was like, oh, no. So what it is, it's using AI to like autofill this. I'm like, I don't think you know what AI means because that's not what this is. It's just a simple autofill form. And you're just trying to use this buzzword to make me feel excited about it. It's infuriating. And like, I'm just waiting for Sonicare to be like, hey, we have this new AI toothbrush. Like, they already have a toothbrush that can connect to your phone for who knows what reasons.
Yeah, really.
We just need to get away from, like, smart devices.
We need to get away from being smart and going back to being dumb.
I'm clearly already to that point.
Same.
It's just, honestly, the more and more all this is starting to come out, the more and more I'm going away in the opposite direction. I don't know if that's like an old thing to do, but I just feel like the whole smart thing is becoming too much. Who needs to check Twitter on their refrigerator?
Yeah, really. Like, you don't need everything connected to your phone.
No, because what happens when the tower goes down or something, and now your entire house can't be used because
It's like shut off.
yeah. Speaking of, oh man, this did piss me off and continues to piss me off even to this day.
Okay.
Which operating system do you have? Obviously Windows, but what version?
64? 11? No. 10. Yeah, 10.
It's okay.
I have 10 on my PC, and then on my laptop it's 11.
Did you get the notification on your PC yet?
For what?
The upgrade to Windows 11?
No.
This just happened the other day. Turned on my computer and it's okay. So first of all, ever since at some update, every time I log in, it's like, oh, finish setting up your account. And in this account is like, oh, we're gonna like set you up with like OneDrive or all this stuff, and then Smile to log into your computer.
What the fuck?
And I just keep hitting skip and remind me in 3 days. And every 3 days, I just keep hitting that button and I quit because I'm like, I don't fucking want this.
There's no way to like say, don't ever remind me of this shit again?
No, of course not. They want to like keep annoying you until you actually download this.
That actually did happen to me with Outlook on desktop. Because you know how it used to be just a mail app?
Yeah.
They're now forcing everybody to use this Outlook. And there's no way to, or at least I don't know of a way, for it to not start up when you turn your computer on.
That's ridiculous.
It's so annoying. Like every single day I'll have to like turn it off or like close out of it. And I'm like, I don't want to see my mail first thing every time I open my computer. That's what I have my phone for.
So I get in and log into my computer and I get a new splash screen, which I'd never gotten before, but it was pretty much saying, hey, just to let you know, Windows 10 is going to reach the end of life support, I think in like October 2025. So it's like, so just letting you know, you need to click on this to upgrade to Windows 11.
Okay.
And then right below that it says, by the way, your computer is not compatible for Windows 11.
Mine says that too. I was just going to bring that up. Like mine says this PC doesn't currently meet the minimum system requirements to run Windows 11.
What bullshit is that? Where like,
right?
We don't have like cheap computers. We have decently high-end computers.
I just built mine. Hasn't been 2 years.
Yeah, and so what is it that's not compatible?
And I tried checking and it never tells me.
I want to say it might be our graphics cards, but I feel like you got a higher end graphics card than I do.
I have the one that everyone scrambled to get back in COVID. 3060, I think.
See, I wish I knew what it was. So now like we're both in this dilemma then, because you're not compatible either, where
yes.
You either A, use a product that isn't receiving updates anymore. Now you're open to hacking, a lot more hacking.
Mm-hmm.
Or B, you're spending thousands of dollars now on a computer you already spent $1,000 some on to now be compatible to get the new operating system.
Yeah, and I have to now download a health check program just to even check if mine is eligible.
It is so frustrating. So then it's like, okay, so what if I do? I spend all this money and now I upgrade my computer.
Mm-hmm.
And now what? Now with Windows 11, oh, we have AI. Now AI can watch all this stuff. Now they're forcing users to go to OneDrive. You can't save stuff on your local computer anymore. It automatically gets booted up to the server.
I hate OneDrive so much. I never want to use it.
And all this, like, there's so many bad things with Windows 11.
Yeah, because our IT manager has banned us from ever upgrading to Windows 11 on our work computers.
Yeah, so what are you doing in a year whenever it reaches end of life? There has to be a lawsuit on this.
Yeah.
There has to be. Like, I feel like this is the shortest amount of time for, like, end of life. Because typically, they usually support a soft like OS system for at least a few more versions forward, right?
Yeah.
This is the first time I can remember where it's like, oh, here's the next one coming out. We're already ending the one that you're using.
At least for Apple, I'm running, I want to say 2021, whatever operating system came out in 2021. It's slow. Granted, it is slow, but it's still operable.
Yeah. I remember whenever they made the announcement that like Windows, what was it? Windows 95 or something was finally going to reach its end of life.
Oh, jeez.
And we were already like at 7 or something.
Mm-hmm.
We were so far ahead in the operating system. They're like, oh yeah, now we're going to stop ending this. This is the first time where it's immediately like, here's a new OS, so we're not supporting the old one anymore. Like, it's almost like a blackmail in a way of forcing your hand to upgrade.
Yeah. That's so stupid, though, too, forcing everybody to upgrade when you don't even know that once you do roll everything out, what sort of bugs need to be fixed.
Yeah. And they're already saying like, oh, some people who do have Windows 11 already, their computers are getting stuck in an infinite shutdown. Like every time it tries to load up, it keeps shutting itself down.
Oh, really?
So they're already having problems with it. But yet they're forcing people to now try and like, so what are my options? I can go to Mac.
I wouldn't recommend it, but sure.
But then, well, it's an option. I can go to Mac, but then I lose all the programs I know for editing.
Exactly.
Or it's like not compatible. I can't do gaming anymore because Mac doesn't really support gaming all that well.
Not really, no.
And Mac just got hit with like this super bad malware or virus thing.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not pulling this off the top of my head, but I just remember reading about it where some huge thing where now it's taking out Macs. So I'm like, cool, now that's down the drain. So my third option is what? Linux? Now I got to learn a whole new software, learn how to code pretty much to even run this thing. And back to square one of losing all my programs I know.
And what you have downloaded.
And what I have downloaded, losing all my templates that I made.
Mm-hmm.
And Linux got hit with a big attack not too long ago. So it's like, what are we doing?
How about you and I just start creating one?
I've thought about this in depth ever since the Windows 11 thing came out.
Really?
It's like, it has to be complicated, which is why no one else does it.
Mm-hmm. And then entering the market at this time.
You would have to find a way that it's a brand new operating system that's not going to shove shit down your throat, but at the same time is compatible with whatever OS you like to use anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't understand it. And this goes back to the point of like, the further we're getting into the technology, the more I'm wanting to just go into the woods and build a cabin.
Like Ron Swanson.
Pretty much. Like, I just get rid of all technology, and that's my life now, is just living in the woods.
I 100% agree with you there.
It's just so bizarre. And then this whole Adobe fight with like Adobe saying, oh, we're going to steal all the work that you make in Photoshop. Like, we're going to monitor everything.
Oh, yeah, you did tell me about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to monitor everything. We're going to watch what you do, and we're going to steal that to use for our AI. Well, okay, no, sorry. They didn't specifically say we're going to use it for our AI, but they said they can watch your screen while you're doing stuff in Photoshop and use your artwork if they want to.
I mean, if it's without permission, then that's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
No, it is you downloading the program and reading the terms of service, you're agreeing to the permission.
Wow. Motherfuckers.
So you can say, oh, but I don't agree to this, but you signed up. So they're saying, oh, well, if you don't agree to it, then don't use our program. But people's jobs rely on Photoshop.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening over these like past 2 years, like last year and this year, but like these companies are just really, really pushing the line.
They're seeing how far they can get away with bullshit like this before people actually start paying attention.
I guess. But even Microsoft with like 11, I think they kind of walked back on this, but not really. Of Microsoft's pulling the same shit as Adobe with, oh, we can watch everything you're doing on your computer, which granted they already can, but to come out and blatantly like admit to it.
Yeah. Because, like, this was, like, with the whole Google thing, too, of, like, how incognito isn't technically hiding anything.
Which they clearly say when you do go into incognito mode.
Well, yeah, but, like, because there was, like, this one whole lawsuit with that, I think, a few months ago, where they, like, store all your data still.
Oh, that part, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it was assumed that they weren't storing the data, even though the more and more we go on about this, I'm thinking technology is a mistake.
There needs to be, as big of a tech boom as there was, there needs to be a tech crash at some point.
We've talked about this, I think, like first or second episode. I feel like this stuff just blew up too fast before regulations could be made.
It did. And companies are finding the advantage of it because there aren't any regulations and they're realizing it. And so they're now pushing themselves as far as they can before anything else is made.
Mm-hmm. And then you do have, like, for Adobe, you have a competitor. Like, what's that one that you got? Affinity.
Yes.
So it's like, oh, okay, we finally have a competitor to Adobe that can, like, hold its ground and people can move to that. Affinity was just bought by Canva.
I hate Canva so much. Like, that company as a whole, I fucking hate them.
And now they own Affinity. So it's like every time someone does come up for competition, they get bought out and it gets shut down.
Mm-hmm.
It's frustrating. Anyways, in other news.
Can we just move on to something happy?
Not really so much happy. So after that whole Taylor Swift, Billie Eilish thing,
Okay.
have you been seeing all the other bullshit that's been popping up now lately?
Like what?
So it came out that her boyfriend, I don't know his name,
Who?
Taylor.
Oh, okay. Travis
Kelce. Apparently, like, he follows all these 20-year-old Instagram models and all this stuff, but he doesn't follow Taylor Swift.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
How big of a sign is that where your boyfriend doesn't even follow you on social media?
See, in this day and age with this generation, that's pretty much a non-official relationship. Or if you did follow them and then unfollow them, it means you've broken up.
Exactly. This goes back to the whole like MySpace top 8.
Oh, yeah.
Where your significant, like your boyfriend, girlfriend was always number 1.
Mm-hmm. I do remember that. Even though I never had MySpace, I always knew that rule.
Yep. And if they moved away from that number 1 spot, I was like, ooh, did you guys get into an argument? What's going on?
There's shit going on.
Did you see so-and-so move their top 8?
That's what the whole Facebook thing that just said it's complicated.
Pretty much, yeah. I just feel like the visual of it was better without the words. Like,
oh yeah.
So he did that, and then like instantly once that was caught up on the internet, then he started liking all of her photos on Instagram.
Damn.
It's like, way to make it even more obvious to the fact that like you weren't doing anything.
Yeah, really.
So aside from that, like there's that apparent. Did you know about the Taylor Swift documentary?
The Eras Tour documentary?
No. So there's another documentary that was made and say on HBO, I want to say.
Oh.
And apparently it's pretty fucking damning on the type of person she is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've always known that. Like, everyone has always known how bad of a person she is.
Mm-hmm. And apparently this documentary really brings to light how she really is. And I guess her PR team really put in overtime to hide the fact that the documentary came out because I didn't even hear about it.
I didn't hear about it either.
So it was like on Reddit, someone brought it up. And then people were trying to find it, and even trying to find it, it's really hard because they really buried this thing.
Interesting.
So I really want to watch this and like see what it's really about.
Oh, yeah. Because I remember way back in the day, Tumblr used to have like all this stuff written about her, and apparently it was true. So now I want to go back and like dig all that up.
And the whole her getting into beef now with David Grohl, out of all people. Did you hear about this?
No.
A video came up where a Foo Fighters concert was going on, and I forget the whole context of how it got to it, but David was talking about how because there's the Eras tour, he's going to name their tour the Errors tour because they're a live band and they make mistakes and make errors while playing.
That's hilarious.
And he pretty much like ended it with saying like, but hey, at least we play our music live. And then like the whole crowd like goes crazy. So that video gets to Taylor, and then Taylor proceeds to like fight back.
Damn.
And say like at her concert, my band plays live for 3.5 hours every night. It's like, yeah, we get your band plays for 3.5 hours. You don't do shit for that 3.5 hours.
You just stand there looking pretty for 3.5 hours.
Yeah. So now even more videos are coming out where people are like close to the concert taking video of her, and it's clear as day that she's not singing a word. She's just moving her mouth to the words.
Wow.
So now this is like the year of like technology fucking us and Taylor being brought down a few pegs.
I mean, like, I just don't understand why people are so behind her when she is clearly known to be a horrible person. Like, any other artist would have easily been canceled for the whole carbon footprint thing that planes are using, for example. Like, her carbon footprint for having a private jet go to each show on the tour. Like, if any other artist did that, these people would have been like, oh yeah, they're a horrible person, cancel them, like, we're not watching these people anymore. And then when it's Taylor, it's like, oh yeah, we don't care.
People have been saying this of how it's kind of like a cult at this point.
It is.
And I kind of see it.
Yeah.
Like how people are dishing out thousands of dollars to see her live, by the way, not even like her actually being live.
This is why I think you and I have stuck to bands
Yeah.
rather than individual solo artists.
This is true. I'm trying to think like off the top of my head because I know Patrick Stump from Fall Out Boy. Is that his name?
Stop.
Yeah, Patrick Stump. That's why when I said like, wait, was that really his name? And I just pulled that out of thin air.
What an unfortunate name.
He did a solo thing, and even Panic at the Disco. What's his name? Brandon Urie.
Brendan Urie, yeah.
He went solo. I mean, Panic at the Disco was a whole solo project for the most part.
It was, yeah.
But like, still, they sang live.
True.
I don't know.
But speaking of bands, and this is a discussion that I would have been saving for the next time a band topic was brought up. Some sort of discussion happened at work. And one of my work friends brought up, because I don't know why, but I just put in 1985's lyrics from
Bowling for Soup.
In the Discord chat. Yes, Bowling for Soup. Those lyrics in chat. And then one of my friends was just like, are they singing in order to get soup, to eat, or in honor of soup because they love it? And that's why it's called Bowling for Soup. And I'm like, I was just sitting there looking at those words, and I'm just like, you know what? You have a really good point.
I think that is the story behind it too.
Because they love soup, or because
I think it was like a bowling tournament and they were bowling like for soup. I could be wrong on that. Speaking of that song though, did you know that's a cover song?
1985?
Yeah.
I heard about it. I never actually went into it. I looked it up.
There's a guy on YouTube I watched, and he did this whole like top cover songs that you didn't know were covers.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was the Ataris, which was Boys of Summer. And he was pretty much saying how like it's funny how the Ataris got famous for the song, but then they like dropped off immediately once people heard their actual music, their original music, because it was nowhere as good as the cover song that they did. And same went for Bowling for Soup. When he brought that up, I'm like, wait, what song did they cover? I didn't even know about this. And yeah, it was 1985, so they got famous because of that song. And then for them though, I feel like a lot of their songs are kind of good though.
They are, yeah. I do like their songs.
I'm quickly trying to find out how they got their name though.
Okay. Yeah, because I've always wondered, because I know it's always interesting hearing how a band got their name.
Oh, 100%. The one that I like to use it because it always blows people's minds, but it's right there in front of them. And it blew my mind was there's a guy, what band was he in? I'm doing so much research today. Alexis on Fire. Okay. The guitarist for the band Alexis on Fire, his name is Dallas Green. And he eventually went off to do a side project or a solo project called City in Color. And so many people were like, oh, I love City in Color and whatnot. And it was pointed out to me of, oh, yeah, it's such a clever project name because that's just his name. Dallas is a city, green is a color. And so I always use that for people, and they're like, I never put the two together. It's so cool.
That's hilarious.
Okay, so I was way off on the band name. So how they got it.
Oh, Bowling for Soup. I have COVID brain. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh yeah, sorry. I pivoted back to that. Oh yeah, speaking of that, it was so funny. Like the other day I was talking to you and I brought up something about like one of the episodes, like, oh, what are we going to do for this? Or we were talking about intros and whatnot. And you started talking about outros. And I'm like, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about the same thing?
It's funny because like 5 minutes later, it registered what you were talking about. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. You were talking about all this stuff. And then you're like, oh, wait, I know what you're talking about now.
Oopsies.
So Bowling for Soup came from a Steve Martin stand-up special where Steve Martin says the phrase bowling for shit.
Okay.
And so they adapted that to be bowling for soup instead.
That's hilarious.
And they said that they kind of like interpret it as it's another way of saying like soup could be income or food. So like they're like trying to be in a band, you're like trying to get that income and trying to make it. And it just kind of stuck.
Good for them.
It's so funny too how I think you and I have done this where we're just in a normal casual conversation and then like you will say something or I'll say something and then it's like, ooh, that'd be a good band name.
Oh yeah. I know you've done that more than I have.
The amount that I in my memory, I have about 80 band names that I've heard in conversations or someone said to me, I'm like, oh, that's a great band name, or just through the news.
Have you written anything down?
No. It's one of those things that like I'll never use them. To me, it's always fun to come up with like band names or song names, even though I'm never gonna use it for a song name.
Yeah.
The one I can remember is, and anyone who's in a band, if you ever want to use this, go for it. But we had a foreign exchange student in high school from Mexico, and her name was Aislinn. And I'm like, that's a great band name. Obviously, like spelling it a little bit differently, but I'm like, Aislinn is a great band name.
I like that.
It's one of those things too of like Tyler the Creator. I think he always just used to make fake CDs, like CD covers.
Interesting.
He would always like come up with a fake artist and a fake album name, and he would make album artwork out of that just as a way to be creative, I think. But it's always fun. There was one project my friend and I had like that we talked about, and I'll have to ask him the name. I remember parts of what the band name was, but we were gonna make it like this grindcore like album where it's like 20 songs, but overall it's only like a 5-minute long album because the songs are like 30 seconds long. But lastly, before we end the show, there's a link that's been going around on Reddit
Of what?
of a UPS guy dropping off a package in front of a house.
Okay.
And by the time the box touches the ground, 2 men run through the yard to get to the package and steal it.
So does the UPS driver have a stalker then?
My guess is that they just followed the truck. And so whenever he stops, they wait for him to put down the package and then go after it. And one of the guys had a knife to fight off the other guy running for the package.
That's scary. How do you not realize that then?
Oh, he saw it. Like, he put down the package and saw these guys running to the yard, but what can he do in that situation?
I mean, call his boss, go back to base?
Oh, at that point, like, I can't imagine, like, every single time he puts down a package that they're stealing it. It had to have been, like, this is the first time that day it happened.
Oh, okay.
But insanity that this is something that happens now.
That kind of happened to me. So I was home alone, I want to say a few weeks ago, and this one guy comes up into my driveway. He parks his car. Apparently he's from some construction home improvement company. But then he shows me his phone and he's like, "Are you any of these people?" I'm like, "No, but those are my brothers." And so I check with them. And I'm like, "Hey, did you guys even book this thing?" They're like, "No." I mean, obviously, because who in this fucking family would ever do something like that, honestly? Like book an appointment with this company.
Wait, but did you tell the guy that, no, but they are my brothers?
No.
Oh, okay. I mean, you should never give that information out.
I was like, "No, that's not any of us." Just trying to get him to fuck off out of here. And then he's like, "Because we don't have these appointments unless somebody calls in and confirms it with us." And I'm like, "That's scary. Okay."
Are you guys going to get robbed?
Because my dad usually just does everything himself. He'll never like ever book a company to do something like this, at least. And so he's like, "Yeah, can you just talk? I'm going to call my boss. Can you just explain to him what's going on?" And so I explained to him what's going on. And I'm just like, "None of us ever made this appointment. I don't know where you got our information from, where you got our number. But maybe it's time you guys need to check your security stuff. Because we had never even have had a confirmation for anything."
I'm surprised you even entertained this.
I just felt so bad for him only because it felt like he was new and he was apologizing like every second and just trying to explain himself. And I'm like, I just feel so bad because I have been in that position of sending somebody out to a resident and then you have to explain to them why something wasn't completed.
Right, but at the same time, this just feels like checking your house to come back later to rob or something.
I don't know. I mean, he had a uniform on too and everything. So I was like...
It just gives off that vibes.
I don't know, Mike, okay? I just felt bad.
Yeah, but you can buy a uniform on the internet. You're going to get robbed because you felt bad for the robber.
But I just felt bad because he was just apologizing and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll just talk to your boss really quick and just explain what's going on. But then he's like, "Yeah, if you guys just ever want any like home improvement stuff done, you could just give us a call or whatever." Yep, like, "Yeah, my dad will probably just give you guys a call if there's anything." And he just left and he's like, "I'm sorry for ruining your day." And I'm like, "No, you didn't. Don't say that."
Wow, you are really susceptible to these.
This is why I will be killed in an instant, okay? It's just like, I'm sorry for ruining your day. I'm like, no, you didn't.
I would have been like, fuck off. Like, I'm not talking to your boss. I didn't order this. Go away. And I would have just shut the door and let him deal with it on his own.
Wow, okay.
Their inconvenience is not my problem, or their mess up is not my problem.
That's true, but then it's like, if something can be avoided because I can explain something to somebody, then I would go ahead and do that. Because I don't know if that guy's gonna get fired. I don't know what his boss is like. I don't know what the company's like. I've been in that position of having the employee that you send out explain why a job wasn't done, especially when something was confirmed.
I get that, but at the same time, in the world we live in, I don't trust anyone. Fuck all people. Someone's rolling out that I didn't order, you're leaving immediately. Like, I don't want to talk to you, go away.
I guess that's why I'm part of the statistics of women who would get something done to them.
It's one of those things you always say, like, oh, it's like white people stuff to, oh, you hear a sound, you want to investigate what the sound is, which I have done. I will admit, I have done that. I was with my girlfriend once back in Pennsylvania, and it was like, I remember it being snowy, I think, and foggy. So it was already like a perfect scenario for a horror movie where someone dies. And we heard the strangest sound, like not too far away. I'm like, I wonder what that was. Let's go check it out. And it's like, are you fucking crazy? No, we don't investigate the sounds. And it was at that moment I realized I'd be the one to die in a horror movie because of that.
Yes. First one to die.
It's just how it is. Like every time we watch a horror movie and it's like, why would you go upstairs? I'm like, I'd be the one to go upstairs.
See, this is why I am the way I am now, because I know you. It's your horrible influence of being white that has bled off onto me, and this is why I am the way I am. Thank you so much. I used to be a bitch, okay? And now I've gotten soft.
My niceness has rubbed off.
It has.
With stuff like that, especially people just randomly showing up to your place, there's not a chance in hell that I'm like, especially like, oh, you booked this? No, I didn't. Go the fuck away.
See, that might actually need you here and see if you would actually do that.
Oh, 100% I would.
Okay.
There's a time I remember this random energy place like came up, and they're like, there's the door-to-door salesman of, oh, how much are you paying for your electric? We can make it cheaper. Blah, 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 blah.
See, okay, with somebody like that, I'd be like, yeah, fuck off. When I know damn well that there's door-to-door salesmen, either I pretend I'm not home and avoid.
Yeah.
Or I'll just answer and be like, yeah, no, we're not interested. Go the fuck away. But this just seemed different because they weren't selling anything. They were there for an appointment.
I get that. But we've seen Breaking Bad. You know that people use this stuff as a front.
Okay, fine. I've made a mistake. I won't do it again. I will be a bitch next time.
We will see if you have any belongings left once they find out what everyone's schedule is. That stuff always kind of creeps me out. I don't know. I just have a hard time believing people and trusting people, especially when so many people just want to like kill you or rob you. I just know things.
That makes sense.
But I think this is going to be a shorter episode. Obviously, you're not feeling well.
No. I feel like I'm about to die.
Yeah. This went longer than I thought it was. I thought this was going to be a really short episode, but that will do us for this week. Hopefully next week you're feeling better and
I'm alive.
back to 100%.
If you don't hear me next week, I have died.
Me just starting a solo podcast.
Good luck.
So yeah, that will do it for this week. Be sure to rate, comment, subscribe, do all the social media stuff, and go follow all of our socials at Intersint Pod. And we will see you next week.
Bye. No, stop. I can do it better. Bye.